Super Mario Odyssey speedrunning has come quite a long way within the past 7 months. During this small period of time, there have been many different tricks and techniques which have been discovered to help runners shave seconds, sometimes even minutes off their runs. One of the most influential of these runners, specifically in the 80% category, is NicroVeda, who's the current world record holder and joins me today in this commentary.
Hello, friends.
Today, Nicro and I will be going over the top 10 Super Mario Odyssey speedrunning tricks in the 80% run.
This list is based off of 3 main factors. The first is the difficulty of the trick, the second is the risk if it has failed in a run, and third is the amount of time it saves.
Let's jump right into it. Number 10, Dino Skip. Starting off, we have a pretty simple trick that was found right when the game came out. Dino Skip is a trick done in the Cascade Kingdom in which a speedrunner captures the dinosaur resting on top of the hill and uses it to break some fossils.
Wait, aren't they rocks?
No dude, they are fossils. You can tell by the designs on the side.
Nah, dude, those are definitely rocks.
Anyways, once you break the rocks, you reveal a trampoline, which you can then use to bounce upwards and get a lot of height. At the peak of this mega dino jump, the player has to uncapture and dive forwards towards the boss arena to activate the cutscene trigger. This strat saves about 30 seconds over the intended way.
This trick isn't necessarily difficult, however, there is a somewhat specific alignment involved when performing it, as you need to make sure the dino's foot hits the trampoline in a certain spot, otherwise he isn't going to jump. If you do end up missing, it's pretty easy to try again, or even consider resetting, since you're only on the second kingdom in the run. This trick is definitely the easiest on the list, and also isn't too risky. However, the large time save is what puts Dino Skip at number 10 on this list.
Number 9, Flower Road Skip. Flower Road Skip, or FRS for short, takes place in the Wooded Kingdom after you get the story moon Road to the Sky Garden. There are a couple of ways to do it, however, there is definitely one which is the fastest. To do it optimally, you want to perform a quick spin pound facing away from the P switch and then roll cancel to the left, keeping all your speed and then doing a well-timed triple jump off the corner of the railing followed by some cap jumps to make your way onto the next platform. This skips the Flower Road entirely and saves about 2 to 3 seconds.
Although this one saves very little time, it definitely looks cool. It can be pretty easy to mess up either the roll cancel or the triple jump if you don't have enough practice. Falling anywhere after the railing is pretty heartbreaking. You can lose anywhere from 15 to 40 seconds from a death depending on what checkpoint flags you grabbed.
There is an easier way to perform Flower Skip, however it's not recommended as it results in a 1-second time save, which almost isn't even worth it anymore. Although Flower Skip is risky, difficult, and pretty swaggy, its small time save is what puts it at number 9 on this list. Number 8, Scooter Clip. Scooter Clip takes place in Day Metro and allows you to skip having to grab the moon in the cage of the RC car. The way this trick works is by tilting your controller to the left in a sideways fashion while moving past the RC cage on the right side. As you're moving past it, you have to move your joystick left to tilt the scooter far enough to grab the moon inside the cage.
This trick can be really annoying, mainly because when trying to go as fast as possible, we would like to get the so-called drive-by. Since motion controls are so prevalent, and the timing is pretty precise, it's easy to miss it completely, forcing you to perform a pretty awkward backup. There is an alternate method to this trick where you bonk into the cage beforehand to slow down, which makes it much easier. But even when you do this easier method, it can still be pretty awkward.
This moon takes place about halfway through the game and has a good amount of risk to it, but the 6-second time save is what puts it at number 8 on this list. Number 7, Turnip Clip. Turnip Clip is a trick that can only be done in versions of 1.0 and 1.1 of the game. To do it, you have to grab the turnip next to the moon atop the jutting crag and bring it down to the glass that holds a story moon. From here, you want to throw the turnip near the left side of the glass, then capture a pan bro and bring him over top the turnip. Uncapture, then capture again to clip through the glass and grab the moon. This saves about 7 seconds, mainly because you skipped the lever activation cutscene.
This one can be pretty tricky, because throwing the turnip in the correct spots and getting the pan bro to sit still can be quite awkward at times. There isn't much room for error, however, it is easy to realign the turnip if you fail, but we all want that juicy Kobe.
The amount of time it saves and the backup potential of this trick is the main reason that Turnip Clip is number 7 on this list. Number 6, Dram Strat. Here's a cool one for you. Dram Strat takes place in the Sand Kingdom and saves about 5 seconds. It is performed by long jumping off the top of this platform and throwing Cappy upwards in a specific spot, followed by holding Cappy out while diving forward to grab the alcove moon. Before you grab the alcove moon, you need to home in Cappy to the bullet bill above, and if it's all done correctly, you should grab the bullet bill and teleport up above the alcove near the crates.
You have to be pretty precise and quick to pull off this trick. If you don't execute every part of the setup fast enough, your cap will just come back to you and you won't have time to home it towards the bullet bill.
Although this trick is very hard, if you do end up failing, you can easily continue and only suffer a 5-second time loss by climbing the ice pillar to the right of the alcove.
You thought one dram was cool? How about a double dram? Or a dram? Or a double D? For the dram, we time a ground pound into a roll cancel, holding our cap out near the bullet bill cannon, and use our speed to hop over to the far platform, and just before grabbing the moon, like the first dram, we shake to home Cappy to capture the bill after the moon cutscene. This second dram saves about another 2 seconds, making the whole dram package pretty well worth it.
The dram strat takes place pretty early in the run, which is why it's number 6 on this list. Number 5. Birdless. Birdless Mecha-Broodal is done by beating the Mecha-Broodal fight without using the Pokio, and saves between 10 to 15 seconds depending on how it's done.
To do Birdless, you have to climb up on the bumps on the right side of the Mecha-Broodal's leg. Once you make it to the top, you have to burst the glass Broodal bubbles in a specific order with ground pounds. Each time you burst a bubble, you will get flung away, and you will want to make your way back on top by using cap dives mid-air, and it looks pretty epic. After you destroy the first 2 bubbles, the mech will start to run with invincible flashing legs. This means you won't be able to attack at this time. Once the mech gets back to the center and stops running, you will be able to deliver the final blows.
It is also important to note that there is a variant of this trick that allows you to climb up on the left side, which is recommended for newer runners as you lose a bit more time, but it's a lot easier and more consistent when compared to the right side. There's a lot going on with this trick, and any small movement error or mistake will seriously cost you, and you could easily ruin your run if you aren't able to recover. On top of this, falling off can cost around 20 to 30 seconds depending on which phase you messed up in. There are backup strats to this trick, like capturing a bird to get back on, but the backup strats are all very slow. On top of this, the trick itself takes place in the Bowser's Kingdom, which is at the very end of the run and would be a devastating point to fail at. Number 4. First Moon Skip. First Moon Skip, or FMS for short, is a strat that takes place in the beginning of the Cascade Kingdom. It requires you to do a ground pound jump followed by throwing your hat and holding it in a very specific spot on top of the rock, followed by getting in a position to do another ground pound, rolling into Cappy, resulting in a cap vault to get the height necessary to leap over the wall onto the other side. You can perform this on any version of the game, however, the Mad and Brutal boss fight will only trigger if you're playing on the 1.0 version, making this trick useless to anybody playing on a patched version. The moon that you're supposed to get in the rock at the beginning is replaced with the chest moon under the level. So why is this trick at number 4?
Good thing you asked, Fearsome. If done properly, this strat can save around 25 seconds. The main reason this trick can be difficult is the clunky nature of this rock. You see, this rock is the bane of my existence. This thing is so odd to stand on, and even when you think you got the hat in the right spot, it still doesn't give you what you want sometimes. You kinda get a feel for it, but it's so easy to mess up, and even after hundreds of runs, I still find myself resetting to this trick a lot.
The difficulty and large time save is what puts First Moon Skip at number 4 on our list. Number 3. Sphinx Clip. Sphinx Clip takes place in the Sand Kingdom and requires you to jump on top of the Sphinx and align yourself in the right spot and perform a ground pound roll cancel clip through the wall and enter the loading zone into the Sphinx treasure room. After you grab the treasure moon, you need to exit and backflip to clip onto the Sphinx again and do a second clip, but this time to the left into the flowing sands room to just be able to grab the moon while still being out of bounds to make your way out of the wall without having to take the pipe exit. It is important to note that this is the double clip variant, and there is a single clip variant which is about 2 seconds slower, in which you move to the left first and then enter the loading zone afterwards to grab the chest moon. Upon exiting, you instead go around the wall and make your way to the stairs. This is obviously easier because it instead only requires you to clip once instead of twice, and the clipping part of the strategy is what makes it really hard.
When trying to clip, you need to make sure you are in a very precise spot, as being slightly in the wrong position will cause this trick to fail. On top of this, the timing is very frame tight on the roll cancel. If you are even a little late on the cancel, you will just end up rolling into the wall and bonking, which is about a 2-second time loss by itself.
The good thing is that if you do fail this trick, you can easily get back up and attempt it as many times as you'd like. However, if you're a top runner and you fail it just a few times, then the time loss will probably be large enough for you to want to reset, which is the main reason why it's number 3 on this list. Number 2. Mooncave Skip. Mooncave Skip is arguably the most crucial trick used in the 80% speedrun. To perform it, you need to ground pound jump on the head of the Sphinx in the Moon Kingdom and wall jump off a very specific point on the wall. This first wall kick is very important because it will decide if you successfully get the second wall kick on the wall to the left and make it up to the top by the Moon Cave exit, allowing you to make your way into the chapel to crash Bowser's wedding. This completely cuts off the Moon Cave section, which is pretty much the bulk of the kingdom, saving about 5 minutes in total, making it the biggest time save in the entire run.
The trick itself isn't too hard with practice and understanding. However, the spot where you have to wall jump is very specific and isn't the most lenient thing ever. Although there are many tricks on this list that are much harder to execute than Moon Cave Skip, none of them save nearly as much time, and that reason alone is what puts Moon Cave Skip at number 2 on this list.
And number 1. The strat that we have chosen for number 1 is not only the hardest of all the tricks in the 90% speedrun, but it carries more risk than any strat there is. So what is it, you would be asking? Number 1 is the one and only Snow Dram. In any percent, everybody used to go for the moon behind Snowy Mountain at the end of the Snow Kingdom, but top level runners wanted to kick it up a notch and instead go for the moon in the treasure chest by the painting on top of the cliffside. Normally to get this moon, you need to go through the painting from either Bowser's or Mushroom Kingdom to make it up on the cliffside, but speedrunners have found a way to get this one, no paintings required.
For this ridiculous strat, you start off by standing on the edge of the Odyssey and aligning yourself in first-person mode to give you consistent setup to get the right visual cues. This part can be pretty lenient, but most runners have their own cue to get this trick started. Next, you throw Cappy forward and perform a ground pound into a roll, into a cap vault, and start vectoring to the left. Once in the air, you have to perform a cap throw into a Cappy bounce, into a rainbow spin, followed by another cap throw, all at very specific heights. If done correctly, you will just barely make it onto the cliffside, allowing you to snag the moon in the chest and make your way back down to the Odyssey.
There is seriously almost no room for error with this trick. I spent hours on it before I was even able to get it once, and even then I really just got lucky. Not only is this an immensely hard trick, but it takes place in the Snow Kingdom, which is pretty late into the game, and get this, there are no backups at all. If you fail this trick, then your run is dead. Since it's more optimal to do this moon last in the Snow Kingdom route, it can be seriously nerve-wracking to go for it knowing that you can't fall back on anything. So not only is this the most difficult strat in the game, it's also the riskiest out of any trick in Super Mario Odyssey.
The speedrunning community has actually known about this trick for many months, but nobody had ever attempted to go for it until recently because of how difficult and precise it is, the lack of setup back then, and the time save might not have been worth it months ago. But as time goes on, the records are getting lower and lower, and this trick is a must-do for most top runners. I have definitely lost a decent amount of runs to this jump, which were very heartbreaking, and all things considered, is definitely why Snow Dram earns its spot at number 1.
Well, that just about wraps it up for this video. If you want to watch high-level Super Mario Odyssey gameplay, then make sure to check out NicroVeda on Twitch and YouTube. And if you're really interested in learning to speedrun Super Mario Odyssey, or just be a part of the community, the Odyssey Discord link will be in the description. And also, make sure to go check out Nick's speedrun of the game at SGDQ 2018. If you're curious as to why some strats on this list are called Dram, then click on the video on the right to find out. Thank you guys so much for watching, I hope that you enjoyed, and have a wonderful day.
Peace out, guys. Stay safe.